In yesterday class, we have discussed about definitions of AS-7. What are they? First one is contractor, next one is contractee. Next we have discussed fixed plus fixed price. Next we have discussed about cost plus profit. Next is retention amount. Next is contract definition. And also we have discussed about the components that are to be included in the revenue. What are the components that you need to included in the revenue portion? First one is cost plus profit or fixed price. Next is any variation with respect to the original contract, like any escalation clause that are already included in the contract. Next one is any incentives. Next one is any incentives, any claims or any penalties. Claims, incentive, penalties, if you are reasonable certain that you may receive or you may incur, then only you should recognize it form part of revenue. Otherwise you don't require to recognize. Next we are going to discuss about components that are need to be included in the cost. So cost, basically I will classify it into three parts. First one is direct cost, cost that are directly related to specific contract. And second one is cost that are attributable to contract based on overheads. And the third point we are going to discuss is specific cost. If it is included in the contract, only we will be considered. For suppose if it is not considered, then we won't consider the specific cost. Okay. So now let us see each one, some examples. First one, cost directly related to specific contract. What are they, labor cost, next one is cost of materials used in the construction, and next example is depreciation of the plant and machinery used in the contract. Next one is hiring of a cost for hiring of a plant and machinery. You need not to remember these all the things, because in the question they may directly give these costs are directly related to the construction of a contract. In this one you need to remember with respect to depreciation of a plant and machinery. In the question they may give that, for suppose the cost of a plant and machinery is 10 lakh rupees and the depreciation rate is 10%. So the depreciation, how much it will come? 1 lakh rupees. So in the question they may say that for 12 months, only 9 months we have used that machine and 3 months we have not used that machine. So as per AS-7, ideal depreciation shall not be considered under the ideal plant and machinery depreciation shall not be considered in the cost for that contract. So this is more important. If the plant and machinery is ideal, you cannot consider that depreciation. while calculating the cost of that plant and machinery. Please remember this point. For 9 months we will consider this cost. Next nana, the cost that are required to be apportioned nana, based on the some overhead rates, that is general insurance cost nana. Next one is construction overheads. What are the construction overheads nana? For suppose there is a corporate office nana, they are incurring some expenditure for getting all the contracts nana, so that expenditure you need to be allocated to the all the construction contract based on the some ratio nana, based on the revenue or based on the cost, whatever maybe it is, based on the number of employees you may divide nana. So these are allocable cost nana. Next, the following costs shall not be considered form part of cost nana. If it is specified in the contract, you should be considered, otherwise you cannot be considered nana. Research and development cost, if it is specifically mentioned in the contract, for that contract you required research and development, then you should be included in the cost price nana, otherwise you need not to include in the cost portion nana. Next one is, I said, ideal plant and machinery. Depreciation of a ideal plant and machinery, you need not to be considered nana. Next one is unused material. This is also you need not to be considered while calculating the cost nana. What is meant by unused material nana? In the question they may use that X is constructing one house property they have purchased the bricks of 10 lakh rupees nana. At the end of the contract they used only 7 lakh bricks, 3 lakh bricks are unused. So while calculating the cost of that project, you should calculate only 7 lakhs. You should not calculate these 3 lakh nana. Are you understood? Yes sir. The next point is the most important point nana, you may forget in the examination, so you should remember this point. ICI may test this point nana. For suppose X is constructing one big house to Y nana, one duplex house is constructing to Y nana. X has purchased one machinery. The duration of the construction of an asset is 2 years nana. X purchased this machine at the end of the year only, at the starting of the year. What happened nana? This machine can be used for construction of this asset only after 6 months. So what X says, that what X is dealt is X given that machine to Z nana, he given some 60 lakh rupees for using that machine nana. Whether this 60 lakhs you should be reduced from the depreciation of the plant and machinery or not? Say yes or no. Many students are saying that yes. The answer is no nana. Why? I said plant and machinery, that is ideal for 6 months. If it is ideal, whether the depreciation should be considered while calculating the cost? No. Then how you will consider the rental income of that plant and machinery in the depreciation nana? You are not considering the depreciation while calculating the cost, then how you will consider that income, that you will reduce the income from that cost nana? So no, the answer is no. For suppose In the same example, X is constructing one house. Nana. What is doing, Nana? Some scrap are there, Nana. While constructing a house, you may get the scrap of iron. Am I right or not? If he sold this scrap, he will get some income. Then this income should be reduced from the direct cost, Nana. Are you understood the difference between the previous example and now example? In the previous example, what I said, I have a plant and machinery I have given for rent for 6 months. It is an ideal condition. If it is in ideal condition, then I won't consider the depreciation. If I won't consider the depreciation, then I don't consider the income also. Whereas in the second example, I am getting some scrap of iron. So if I am getting the scrap of iron, the iron cost is already included in the cost. If I sell that, I will get some income, Nana. That income should be reduced from the direct cost, Nana. Please understood this example. Very important from the exam point of view, Nana. So I have completed the components that are to be included in the cost, the components that are not to be included in the cost, Nana. Are you understood this example? Yes, sir. Before going to the recognition of a revenue, you should know the basic difference, Nana. AS-7 is applicable to contractor, contractee or contractor only. AS-7 will be applicable to contractor and contractee or either contractor or contractee, Nana. Let's say yes or no. No, AS-7 is applicable in the books of contractor only, not contractee. Then which AS is applicable for contractee, sir? For suppose X is constructing a house property 2Y. So then PPE standard will be applicable. AS-10 will be applicable. For suppose X is constructing an inventory to the Y means, then AS-2 will be applicable, Nana. For suppose X is constructing an investment property means, then accounting for investment will be applicable, Nana. Based on the contract, the standard may changes, Nana. Are you understood this example? AS-7 is applicable in the books of contractor only, not contractee. Now let us go for recognition of revenue. Most important, Nana. Revenue recognition. Very simple, Nana. If first you should know the outcome of the contract is known or not. Outcome of the contract is estimated reliably or not. First you should know, Nana. If outcome of the contract I can be estimated reliably, if the answer is yes, then you should recognize the revenue based on percentage of completion method, nana. How to calculate using POC we will discuss further, nana. If outcome of the contract is estimated reliably, then you should recognize the revenue percentage of completion method, nana. Whereas with respect to if your outcome of the contract you cannot estimated reliably, nana, then whatever may be the cost that you have incurred, that should be recognized as an revenue, nana. Let us take an example. X is constructing a house whose revenue is 100 crores total. So X incurred up to the cost is 50 crores rupees, nana. Total cost of the project is some 100 crores. This is 200 crores if you take. What happened, Anna? He is able to estimate the contract reliably, then the revenue should be recognized on the percentage of completion method, Nana. How much revenue I need to be recognized means, what is the total cost? 100. How much I have been completed? 50. Into what is the revenue? 200. So you should recognize the revenue 100 crores, Nana. For suppose if X is unable to estimate the outcome of the contract reliably, then, Nana, what you need to be recognized is cost incurred how much, Nana? 50 lakhs, 50 crores. Then revenue also should be recognize 50 crores only. Please understood this point. If outcome of the contract is estimated reliably, then you should recognize the revenue on the basis of percentage of completion method, Nana. If you are unable to determine the outcome of the contract, then you should recognize the revenue that is equal to cost, Nana. Are you understood this point? Yes, sir. Next we are going to discuss about some exceptional rule, Nana. X entered into a contract for construction of an house. So he had bidded the amount 50 crores rupees, Nana. X went to his Y site. While constructing an house, he found that a big stone is there in the earth. So he has to remove that stone and he need to construct that house, Nana. Before entering into the contract, he does not know about that stone, Nana. So after that, his estimation of the cost will become 60 crores now. So it is more than the revenue. In the first year only he knows. So what will be the loss, Nana, for this project? 50 crores minus 60 crores. That is 10 crores. So you should recognize the loss as and when you know. As per the prudence concept, you should recognize the losses immediately, Nana. As in the same way, you should recognize the expense in the year in which you know, Nana. So are you understood this point? Yes, sir. Okay, Nana. Yes, I have completed the components that are to be included in the revenue, components that are to be included in the cost. Now when you should recognize the revenue, if the outcome is not determinable, then revenue is equal to cost. However, if the outcome of the contract I can determine, then revenue is equal to percentage of completion method, Nana. Then what is meant by percentage of completion method? How can I determine, Nana? So percentage of completion method. Revenue is recognized based on percentage of work completed. In this way, you can recognize the revenue, Nana. So it will matches two concepts of our basic accounting principle. While we are discussing about peculiar behavior of the contract, we have discussed one basic principle. What is, Nana? Matching concept. there is a corresponding expenditure, you should recognize the corresponding income also, Nana. So while you are you are booking the revenue based on the percentage of completion method. Based on the percentage of completion method, you have incurred a cost of 10 crore rupees. For that, you may recognize the corresponding income also. For suppose 25 crores. Okay. Next is accrual concept. These two concepts, percentage of completion method is fulfilling. Are you understood this point? Yes, sir. Then how should I determine the percentage of completion method, Nana? From the practicality, there are three types to determine the percentage of completion method. Whereas with respect to examination point of view, only one method is there. That is only percentage of cost incurred. Formula is cost incurred till date divided by cost incurred till date plus future estimation cost. Are you understood? Percentage of cost incurred, Nana. Progressive percentage of completion method. So you should write the formula cost incurred till the date divided by cost incurred till the date plus future cost to be incurred. Next, Nana, from the practicality point of view of, there are two method also. Next one is surveyor method. Surveyor method is nothing but an independent person will come and will estimate how much percentage of that building is completed. He will give one report. Based on that report, we will recognize the revenue, Nana, based on that percentage. Next one is completion of physical proportion of a contract. What is mean by this? It is nothing but X entered into construction of a 300 square feet house, Nana. He completed 200 square feet and 100 square feet is pending, Nana. So based on that, 100 divide 200 is completed, 200 divided by 300 into percentage. Like that we can calculate. It is possible only in the practical way, Nana. In the examination point of view of, you cannot calculate by using this method. All the questions are based on the percentage of completion method, that is percentage of cost incurred, that is cost incurred till the date divided by cost incurred till the date plus cost incurred in the future date, Nana. You should remember that formula, then you will remember easily. Next, the most important with respect to this AS-7 is, whereas in other standards you need not to remember the disclosures, Nana. It is fine. But whereas with respect to AS-7, you definitely should remember the disclosures, because ICA is asking 5 marks question with respect to it. ICA is giving some XYZ, so doing something. So it is asking disclosures as per AS-7. So you should remember the disclosures. First, how to remember, sir? The first point is revenue. In revenue, what you will declare, Nana? The first one is how much revenue is booked, you need to disclose. Second one is whether percentage of completion method is. There are two methods I said, Nana, whether the revenue can be estimated probably or not. So whether the percentage of completion method is following or not. And third point is for percentage of completion method, which method you are using. Like that, there are three methods, no? One is cost based, second one is surveyor method, next one is physical proportion completed method, Nana. Ho gaya revenue. These are the three disclosures with respect to revenue. Next, Nana, cost. How much expenditure incurred till the date. That is the first point you need to remember. how much expenditure you incurred till the date, any advance received from that party, any retention amount with that party. This is the third point you need to be remember. And the fourth point is amount due from the customer, and second one is the amount receivable from the customer. You need to be disclosed. No. How sir? How these 2 points are different? For suppose Jagan is entering into a construction of an asset. No. So total cost incurred till the date is 50 crores. I have received an advance of 60 crores on the first day itself. No. So in the balance sheet, what am I due to the customer or customer is due to me? Jagan is due to the customer. Nana. So you'd recognize in the liability side as a 10 crores amount due to the customer. Nana. For suppose X is completed the project 50 crores. X given an advance of 25 crore rupees. And again X given 23 crore rupees. And 2 crores he had as a retention amount. Nana. So net how much you have received from the customer is 2 crores. You will write in the asset side amount recoverable from the customer is 2 crores. So are you understand this question? From last disclosure, one question is there from the ICA. We will discuss while discussing the questions. Okay. In next session we will go to the questions.